Your social security number, medical records, and tax returns just became accessible to a government agency you've probably never heard of. And the Supreme Court made it happen without even holding a full hearing. In the next few minutes, I'm going to break down exactly what the Supreme Court just decided, why the Department of Government Efficiency now has unprecedented access to your most sensitive personal data, and what this means for every American's privacy moving forward. Stay until the end, because I'll reveal the specific steps you can take to protect yourself in this new reality. Welcome to Financial Area, where we cut through the noise to bring you the financial and political news that directly impacts your life. If you find this breakdown valuable, hit that like button and subscribe for more essential updates on policies affecting your money and privacy. Let's start with what just happened at the highest court in our land. In a decision that caught legal experts completely off guard, the Supreme Court has granted the Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, sweeping access to Social Security Administration data. But here's what makes this truly unprecedented. They did it without requiring a full hearing, without the usual legal scrutiny, and without the comprehensive review process that typically accompanies such monumental privacy decisions. This isn't how the Supreme Court usually operates. Normally, when dealing with cases that could fundamentally alter American privacy rights, the court schedules oral arguments, reviews extensive briefs, and takes months to deliberate. But in this case, they fast-tracked the decision, essentially rubber-stamping DOGE's request for data access in a matter that would typically take years to resolve. The timeline here is crucial to understand. Just weeks ago, multiple federal courts had blocked DOGE's attempts to access this sensitive information. These lower courts recognized the serious privacy implications and put temporary restraints in place while the legal challenges played out. Civil liberties attorneys were preparing comprehensive arguments about why this level of government access could violate Fourth Amendment protections against unreasonable searches. But the Supreme Court's decision effectively swept all of those protections aside. Legal scholars are calling this one of the most significant departures from standard judicial process in recent memory. Professor Margaret Chen from Georgetown Law put it bluntly, "We're witnessing a fundamental shift in how the court approaches privacy rights, and it's happening at lightning speed." Now, you might be wondering, what exactly is this Department of Government Efficiency that just gained access to your most personal information? DOGE was established under the Trump administration with what sounds like a reasonable mission to enhance governmental efficiency by reducing fraud and eliminating bureaucratic waste. On paper, it's supposed to streamline government operations and save taxpayer money. But here's where things get concerning. The actual scope of DOGE's authority extends far beyond simple efficiency improvements. This agency now has the power to dive deep into personal data under the broad justification of fraud prevention. And with the Supreme Court's blessing, that power just became virtually unlimited when it comes to Social Security information. The data they can now access isn't just basic information. We're talking about the most sensitive details of your financial and personal life, your complete Social Security earnings history, which reveals everywhere you've worked and how much you've earned going back decades. Your medical records connected to disability claims or Medicare benefits, your tax return information that's been reported to Social Security, even personal communications related to benefits applications or appeals. Think about what this means. Every medical condition you've disclosed to receive benefits, every financial hardship you've documented, every personal detail you've shared with the government in confidence, it's all now accessible to DOGE. And remember, this access was granted not through careful legal consideration, but through an expedited Supreme Court decision that bypassed normal privacy protections. But DOGE isn't just planning to look at this data. They're planning to use it actively. The agency has stated its intention to conduct comprehensive data mining operations to identify patterns that might indicate fraud. This means your personal information will be run through algorithms, compared against other databases, and potentially flagged for investigation based on factors you might never understand. The security implications alone should concern every American. We're talking about creating a massive database of highly sensitive personal information that will be stored, processed, and analyzed by a relatively new government agency. History has shown us repeatedly that large government databases become targets for hackers, are subject to breaches, and often end up being used for purposes far beyond their original intent. The public reaction to this decision has been swift and alarmed. The American Civil Liberties Union immediately issued a statement calling this a dangerous erosion of privacy rights that sets a terrifying precedent for government overreach. The Electronic Frontier Foundation warned that this decision could open the door for other agencies to make similar data requests without proper judicial oversight. Privacy advocates are particularly concerned because this decision doesn't exist in a vacuum. Once the Supreme Court establishes that agencies can access sensitive personal data through expedited rulings, what's to stop other government departments from making similar requests? The Department of Homeland Security could argue they need access to identify security threats. The IRS could claim they need broader data access to prevent tax fraud. The precedent is now set for bypassing traditional privacy protections. Congressional reactions have been mixed along predictable party lines, but even some Republicans who generally support government efficiency measures are expressing concern about the speed and scope of this decision. Senator Lisa Murkowski stated, "While I support efforts to reduce government waste, I have serious questions about whether we're sacrificing fundamental privacy rights in the process." The future implications of this decision extend far beyond Social Security data. DOGE has already indicated its intention to seek access to Medicare databases, Medicaid records, and other federal health programs. If the Supreme Court was willing to grant Social Security access this quickly, there's little reason to believe they'll be more cautious with other sensitive databases. This could fundamentally change the relationship between citizens and their government. For decades, Americans could reasonably expect that their personal information shared with one government agency would remain compartmentalized and protected. That expectation is now being challenged in ways that would have been unimaginable just a few years ago. But here's what you need to know to protect yourself in this new reality. First, understand that your Social Security-related information is now accessible to DOGE, and there's currently no way to opt out or restrict this access. However, you can take steps to monitor how your information might be used. Request your Social Security statement regularly to see what information is on file. You can do this annually through the Social Security Administration's website. Look for any discrepancies or information that seems incorrect, as this could indicate your data has been compromised or misused. Stay informed about DOGE's activities and any new data requests they make. Follow privacy advocacy organizations like the Electronic Frontier Foundation and the ACLU, as they'll be monitoring this situation closely and will alert the public to new developments. Most importantly, contact your representatives in Congress. This decision happened quickly and with little public input, but there's still time for legislative action to provide additional privacy protections. Many representatives are just now learning about the full implications of this ruling, and public pressure could lead to new laws that provide better safeguards for personal data. Consider supporting organizations that advocate for digital privacy rights. These groups are already working on legal challenges to limit the scope of DOGE's data access and are pushing for stronger privacy legislation at the federal level. The Supreme Court's decision to grant DOGE access to Social Security data represents a watershed moment in American privacy rights. Whether this marks the beginning of a broader erosion of digital privacy or serves as a wake-up call that leads to stronger protections will depend largely on how citizens respond in the coming months. Your personal information is more valuable and more vulnerable than ever before. Stay informed, stay engaged, and don't assume that traditional privacy protections will continue to exist without active effort to preserve them. The price of privacy, like the price of freedom, is eternal vigilance. Thanks for watching Financial Area. If this breakdown helped you understand what's really happening with your personal data, hit that like button and subscribe for more essential updates on the policies that affect your financial life. And remember, in a world where your privacy is increasingly under threat, staying informed isn't just smart. It's essential.